students. In today's session, we are going to see the next topic of Module 1 under electromagnetic field theory, that is different types of coordinate system. So when you do the analysis in case of your electromagnetic field theory, you have to analyze only by means of the coordinate system, which could either be your Cartesian coordinate system or spherical coordinate system or cylindrical coordinate system. Because with only one type of coordinate system, it is not possible to have a complete 360-degree analysis. So we need to have the analysis with respect to the specified coordinate system, and also this video will describe how to convert one type of coordinate system to another type of coordinate system, because some analysis with a spherical or cylindrical system, it is hard to have a complete 360-degree analysis only by keeping that parameter r, theta and phi or rho phi z as a base. So we are going to see how we are going to convert one type of coordinate system to another type of coordinate system. So there are three different types of coordinate system. First is going to be your Cartesian coordinate system. Second one, it is cylindrical coordinate system. And third, it is going to be your spherical coordinate system. So here in what way it is differing? The ordinates of your Cartesian coordinate system is going to be x, y, z, that is 3 axes. The ordinates of your cylindrical coordinate system is going to be rho, phi, z. Spherical coordinate system r, theta and phi. So these are all the ordinates of your coordinate system. So the Cartesian coordinate system ordinate is going to be x, y, z as mentioned over here. The coordinates of cylindrical coordinate system is rho, phi, z. Spherical is r, theta, phi. Cartesian coordinate system. So first we'll have the description towards the Cartesian coordinate system. The three ordinates of the Cartesian coordinate system is going to be x, y, z. So in graph, suppose if I am asking you guys to mark 2, 3. So it falls in your x-axis and this is going to be a y-axis. So normally how we will mark? It is your x-axis and this is going to be your y-axis. 2, 3 means 2 in your x-axis and 3 in your y-axis. So finally you will mark a point here and you will be writing it as 2, 3. It is a common and you people are experienced in marking the coordinates of xy system. Now if you have a 3 ordinate system, the xyz coordinates is mentioned as, it is going to be your y-axis and this is your x-axis and here it is your z-axis. So here this is going to be your z-axis. Now if we are asking to mark 1, 2, 3, 1 in x-axis, 2 in y-axis and 3 in z-axis. So x-axis 1, y-axis 2, that is it falls in positive y-axis direction. So from here 2 ordinates. So this is going to be your y-axis. And then from here 3 in z-axis. So 1, 2, 3. So from here you should mark 3. This is going to be your coordinate 1, 2, 3. This is how you have to plot the ordinates in a 3-axis system. It is the ordinate of your 3-axis system as shown over here. It is your y-axis, x-axis and z-axis. Here we have shown a cubical part. If this is going to be a y-axis, the unit vector along this y-axis is represented as a. A suffix y is going to be the unit vector. If this is going to be your z-axis, the unit vector along z-axis is going to be represented as a suffix z. It is your x-axis. The unit vector along your x-axis is represented as a suffix z. If you consider a differential element along your y-axis, then you are going to represent it as dy. If you are going to consider the differential element along x-axis, dx will be the representation. dz is going to be the differential elemental length along your z-axis. So if you are considering a Cartesian coordinate system, first you should understand the differential elemental length, then you have to understand about the differential surface area, then we need to understand about the differential volume element. Next, in the next slide, we'll be seeing what is the differential elemental length, how it is going to be described. So dx is nothing but differential elemental length along x-axis, dy differential elemental length along y-axis, dz differential elemental length along z-axis. Why we are going to consider a differential elemental length in the sense? Because when you are considering one cubical face, so if this is going to be your y-axis and this is going to be your x-axis, so here why we need to consider a differential elemental length? If it is of larger in size, you can consider, here I am placing a charge q1, q2, q3, q4. So you consider the length of the line of y-axis is going to be 100 kilometer, and you are going to place the charge along this 100 kilometer of the line. If we are supposed to identify the charge for a particular length, then you have to consider a differential elemental length along y-axis. Then in this differential elemental length, we will be counting the number of charges. That total number of charges multiplied by the distance will give the amount of charge that is distributed all along the length of the line. For that sense, we are going to consider a differential elemental length along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Therefore, the total vector length, differential vector length dl can be written as dx, dy, dz are the differential elemental length along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Ax, ay and az represent the unit vector along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. If to find out the magnitude of this differential elemental length, we will have dl vector is equal to root of dx square plus dy square plus dz square. Differential surface area. So if you consider a cubical surface, this is going to be del y and it is going to be del x and it is going to be your del z. So differential surface area ds along x-axis, area means meters meter square. Suppose if you are considering these three axes, dx, dsx, dsy and dsz. So dsx, dsy, dsz. dsx is nothing but differential surface area along x-axis. Therefore, the unit vector is going to be all along your x-axis. dsy, it is the differential surface area along y-axis. Therefore, the unit vector is going to be ay. dsz, the differential surface area along z-axis. Therefore, the unit vector is going to be in z-axis. If you are going to identify the differential surface area along z-axis, then your dy and dz is going to be your surface area. So in this cubical face, it is your del x, that is dx, and this is going to be your del y and this is going to be your del z. Suppose if I wanted to identify the surface area of my front face, so the surface area of my front face is going to be dy and dz and the direction is going to be your ax vector. Therefore, the differential surface area along x-axis direction is going to be dy dot dz and the direction is going to be ax. Suppose if I wanted to identify the surface area of the top face. Top face means it is going to be your del z. This is going to be your del y. This is del x and this is going to be your del y. So, ds, the top face surface area is going to be dx, dy and the direction is going to be az. Therefore, it is the surface area along your z-axis direction. This is how you need to identify the differential surface area of a Cartesian coordinate system. Then the differential volume element. Differential volume element, it will be represented with a letter called dv. dv is the differential volume element where we are going to have dx, dy and dz. So this is going to be your differential volume element. Next one, cylindrical coordinate system. Cylindrical coordinate system, you have to consider the cylinder. Cylinder means it will be having one drum. It looks like a drum. It will have height. This is going to be the height of the cylinder, and this is going to be the radius of the cylinder. The radius of the cylinder is going to be rho. Since the cylinder is having the circumference, it will be defined with an angle called phi. So here we have three terms. The cylindrical coordinate system will have three terms, that is rho, phi, z. Rho is nothing but radius of the cylinder. Rho is your radius of the cylinder. Phi is nothing but the angle made from x-axis to the point under consideration. For example, if we are considering, you consider this is going to be a z-axis, y-axis and x-axis. Cylinder, I am placing it here. If this is going to be my point under consideration, P, from origin to the point under consideration, the radius is going to be rho meter, and the angle made from x-axis to the point under consideration is going to be phi. Suppose if I am going to consider the point under consideration at this particular point, you consider this is going to be my point P1. Now the rho from origin to the point under consideration P1 is going to be rho. Phi is nothing but angle made from x-axis to the point under consideration. So this is going to be your phi 1. So this phi could vary from 0 till 2 pi. Therefore the angle of as the point under consideration is getting varied, the angle phi will also vary from 0 to 2 pi. Whereas the limit of rho will be ranging from 0 to infinity, and whereas the limit of z will vary from minus infinity to plus infinity. Same thing we have explained now. Next is going to be the cylindrical coordinate system. So the three differential elemental length d rho. D rho is nothing but differential elemental length in rho axis. Next one, d phi. In case of your Cartesian coordinate system, we simply wrote dx, dy, dz, because the differential elemental length is going to vary only with respect to the length. Whereas here, if you consider a cylindrical element, cylindrical structure, here this is going to be your cylindrical structure. This cylindrical structure, rho, it is the radius. So here if you consider the differential elemental length, the rho is going to vary with the factor called d rho. Whereas the phi will be varying with respect to rho, where you are going to assume the point P. If you assume the point here, then from x-axis to the point under consideration, the angle is going to be phi. So as the point P is going to get vary all along this circumference, your phi will also vary with respect to rho axis. Therefore, the differential elemental length along rho axis is going to be, phi axis is going to be rho into d phi vector. That is why here rho d phi will specify the differential elemental length in phi axis. dz, it is the differential elemental length in z axis. So dl is equal to the total vector length. dl is equal to d rho, rho into d phi, dz. d rho in a rho vector, rho into d phi in a phi vector, dz in az vector. It is your differential elemental length. Differential length, magnitude of the differential length can be identified as d rho vector the square, rho into d phi the whole square, dz square. Differential surface area. Differential surface element is defined as ds rho, ds phi and ds z. ds rho means it is in the direction of a rho vector. ds phi means it is in the direction of a phi vector. and ds z, it is in the direction of az vector. So here ds rho, it is nothing but all along your rho axis. Therefore, along phi axis and z axis. So d phi and dz will come. But d phi will vary with respect to rho. So we need to write it as rho into d phi into dz. Similarly, ds phi. ds phi means your d rho and dz will come. D rho will vary. It is your differential elemental length along your rho axis. And the differential elemental length along your z-axis is going to be dz. Then differential surface area along z-axis is going to be rho d phi. Differential volume element. So here differential volume element is represented with dv. That is different d rho, differential elemental length along rho axis. Differential elemental length along phi axis, differential elemental length along z axis. Therefore, you will get rho d phi dz. Next one, how to convert one type of Cartesian system, how to convert your one coordinate system to another coordinate system. In this, we are going to see how we are going to convert the Cartesian system into a cylindrical system. So, Cartesian system means cylindrical system to Cartesian means cylindrical ordinates is going to be rho phi z. That has to be converted into x, y, z. So, you will be having the ordinates rho phi z, that should be converted to x, y, z. The formula to convert the cylindrical coordinate system to Cartesian coordinate is x is equal to rho into cos phi, y is equal to rho into sin phi, and z is equal to z. For example, if they had given phi comma 30 degree comma 2. So this represents your rho axis, it is your phi axis, and this is going to be your z axis. The given ordinates is in cylindrical coordinate system. Now this should be converted to Cartesian coordinate system. So Cartesian coordinate system means the ordinates is going to be x, y, z. So I need to identify, we have to identify what is the value of x, what is the value of y, and what is the value of z. So x, y, z can be identified as rho into cos phi. So in the place of rho you have to substitute phi, and wherever you have phi you have to substitute 30 degree. So phi cos 30. Similarly, for to identify the ordinates of y, here phi sin 30. So to identify the value of z, z is equal to 3. It is going to be the same. So z is equal to going to be 2. This is how we have to convert the cylindrical system to a Cartesian system. Next is your Cartesian to cylindrical conversion system. X, Y, Z. Cartesian means it is going to be X, Y, Z. How we are going to convert the X, Y coordinate system to rho phi Z coordinate system. Rho is equal to root of x square plus y square, and phi is equal to tan inverse of phi by x, and z is equal to z. So when you have the ordinates to be 1, 2, 3, if you want to convert it to the form rho phi z, to identify the value of rho, the formula is root of x square plus y square. That is, this is going to be your x term, y term, z term. Phi is equal to tan inverse of y by x, that is imaginary part divided by your real part. Z is equal to z. Next is your spherical coordinate system. In spherical coordinate system, the three ordinates is going to be r, theta, and phi. The differential, it is a sphere, so we'll have a differential elemental length. The differential elemental length is going to be dr, r into d theta, r sin theta into d phi. So you could see the variations, how the differential elemental length is getting varied all along your r axis, theta axis, and phi axis. Therefore, the total vector length dl vector is dr ar vector, r into d theta, a theta, r sin theta into a phi. The differential area, surface area along your r axis, theta axis, and phi axis. So here we have to remember the differential elemental length. These three parameters need to remember to write the differential area. Suppose if I wanted to write what is my differential surface area along your r axis, means it is going to be your AR vector. Now what is AR vector? The other two elements is going to be theta and phi. For theta, the differential elemental length is r into d theta. For phi, the differential elemental length is going to be r sine theta into d phi. So when you identify the differential surface area, it is going to be r square sine theta d theta and d phi all along your r axis. Same way you have to identify the differential volume element. Next one, how to convert your Cartesian system to spherical system and spherical system to Cartesian system. So here you are going to identify if you have the ordinates x, y, z. If you have the ordinates x, y, z, then you will be identifying r, theta and phi using this formula. That is r is equal to root of x square plus y square plus z square. And here you have to identify x, y, z if you have the coordinate r, theta and phi. Next one, how you can represent this one in determinant form. It is your spherical to Cartesian conversion, and this formula is used to convert Cartesian to spherical conversion. Cross product in determinant form. So when you have two vectors, that is a vector and b vector, the cross product will be represented as a cross product with b vector, a vector cross product with b vector. So the determinant value of two vectors in determinant form, cross product in determinant form, this should also be represented by means of Cartesian coordinate system, cylindrical coordinate system and spherical coordinate system. So when you consider a Cartesian coordinate system, the cross product between two vectors a and b is going to be ax, ay, az. Here consider 2 points like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is going to be 1ax plus 2ay plus 3az. It is going to be your a vector. For this particular point, the b vector is going to be 4ax plus 5ay plus 6az. B vector is going to be this one. Now, if we wanted to identify the, suppose if you wanted to identify the cross product in determinant form under Cartesian system, you have to write the determinant ax, ay, az. What is the coordinate, what is the constant for ax? Ax is nothing but 1. What is the constant for ay? It is going to be 2. Constant for az is going to be 3. Same thing in b vector, it is going to be your bx, this is going to be your by, and it is going to be your bz. So here I can have to write it as 4, 5, 6. This is how we need to identify the cross product in determinant form for a Cartesian coordinate system. Next, it is going to be a cylindrical coordinate system, and this is going to be the cross product in spherical coordinate system. It's not a cylindrical coordinate system. This is going to be the spherical coordinate system, because in spherical coordinate system it is going to be r, theta and phi. Okay, in the next class we will be solving some numerical problems under these topics. Thank you, students.